Wow. Okay. Well, that's not what anybody expected. It's a very, very special episode of the LBHT show. Thank you for tuning in. As you can see, I am your regular host, Brodny, and over here we have, or I guess over here, a special guest from the Rogue Pod, Hendo. Thank you for being with us tonight.
I appreciate you for having me. Glad I could be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. Anytime. Jose is running a little bit late. He will be joining the show in just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get things started. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about some coaching moves around the NFL. We're going to be talking about some changes in Baltimore, potential new head coach in Baltimore, and potential uniform changes in Baltimore as well, which are, I guess, long overdue or not needed, or I guess we'll see. We did get a super chat to start out the show. Thank you very much to Bazel. The handle here. No wonder y'all late. Exactly.
First and foremost, I told you before we started, Brian, I'm snitching.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm never late.
Thank you very much, Bazel. Appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat. We got Bazel here. We got Osman. Who else we got in the chat? We got Don Dimelo. We got Sugarton. Thank you very much. Just Aloe is here as well. Killer Cam. He said, "Oh, you got sup." And I mean, it's every week though, Cam. I figure that we give you that 7 days every time you'd come up with something for Hendo. He's here 3 times a week, actually, on the morning show. So I mean, it's a little disrespectful at this point. What's up, Game Too Easy? How you doing tonight? What's this? We got Urban Closer. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. Let's see if we got anybody else in the chat here who I missed. Don't think so. Okay. But like I said, Jose's going to be, there it is, Yolanda. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Sorry. I don't have my glasses on. I can't read.
Chike. I'll be saying what's good.
Ooh. You want to stay tuned on that Clay Kubiak stuff there. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. What's up, Ivy saying? This is what up, LBHT and Hendo. Will the Ravens pop or get off the pot? People ain't waiting for our job. Well, I mean, listen, there's some people that have to wait. Some people are still playing, So those people aren't really allowed to just go out there and look for new jobs. But there's rumors about who is going to be the new head man in Baltimore. We'll get into that in just a minute. But first, like every week, we're going to start it off with a Black History fact.
Let's go.
This week on the LBHT Black History Fact, Paul Robeson lived a life defined by brilliance, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Born in 1898 in Princeton, New Jersey, he grew up in a household shaped by his father's escape from slavery and rise to the ministry. That foundation of resilience fueled Robeson's drive to excel. At Rutgers University, he became one of the most decorated students in the school's history. An academic standout, a debate champion, a 2-time All-American in football, and ultimately the class valedictorian. After earning a law degree from Columbia, he briefly entered the legal field, but left after encountering open racism in the workplace, choosing instead to pursue the arts full-time. That decision transformed him into a global cultural force. Robeson's deep, resonant voice made him one of the most celebrated singers of his era, and his performances of spirituals helped elevate Black musical traditions on the world stage. As an actor, he broke barriers in theater and film, delivering landmark performances in works like Showboat, The Emperor Jones, and Othello. His portrayal of Othello became especially iconic, establishing him as one of the first Black actors to achieve international stardom in classical roles. Robeson's influence extended far beyond entertainment. He used his fame to champion civil rights, labor rights, and anti-colonial movements across the globe. He refused to perform for segregated audiences and spoke boldly against racism and oppression wherever he saw it. His outspoken political views, especially during the McCarthy era, led to government surveillance, blacklisting, and the revocation of his passport. But he never retreated from his principles. When he died in 1976, Robeson left behind a legacy that spans athletics, the arts, and human rights. He's remembered as a pioneering scholar-athlete, a world-renowned performer, and a fearless advocate for equality, whose courage continues to inspire new generations.
All right, and we are back and getting ready to dive into it. I want to thank everybody for the spoilers in the chat. I was clearly teasing the Ravens news for later, but whatever, that's fine. You heard it already. It's okay. We're going to go ahead and start out, I think, with some around the league coaching news real quick. For those who have not heard, Robert Saleh looks to be the new head coach in Tennessee, and it looks like Mike McDaniel, if he does not get a head coaching job, is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. What do you think about those hirings there,
Hendo? A ring of desperation. Robert Saleh. I think he could have done better, but listen, when your turn comes up and the team wants to hire you, for the most part, unless you're Cleveland, then you should go ahead and take it. Mike McDaniel, he had at least, I believe, another 8 interviews left, but decided that he wanted to secure a job just in case he didn't get the head coaching gig. I don't think that he was going to get one anyway, just because of the scuttlebutt that was going around about him and his leadership. But you take what you can get right now.
He would have got that Cleveland job, but he said, no, thank you. No, I think that, listen, I like both hires. I mean, Tennessee is a dumpster fire, but they've got the quarterback. They've got some talent on defense. They've got a couple of young receivers there. So I think that, he can turn that around. It's a tough place to be successful, though. As far as the Chargers, man, I can't imagine a bigger upgrade than going from Greg Roman to Mike McDaniel, an offensive coordinator. And so, we watched the Chargers this year in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, they kind of went back and forth between calling planned runs for Justin Herbert and then just letting him run on his own on pass plays, because I didn't see him throw any passes in that game that I can remember. He took quite a beating in that game, and part of that was because their injured offensive line. But they got Ladd McConkey, they got Quentin Johnston, they've got Omari and Hampton next year, and I think that Mike McDaniel is going to make great use of those weapons, especially with those tackles coming back in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater.
Oh, no doubt. Greg Roman has not been known to dial up plays that help out his offensive line. We know that from his time in Baltimore, in San Francisco, in Buffalo. Like, he's been the same coach, and he runs his offenses the exact same way each and every place that he goes, and he did them a disservice. Listen, there should not be a season where you have Justin Herbert and his arm talent out rushing Lamar Jackson. But in the Greg Roman offense, here we are. So,
but yeah, we saw that coming in the preseason when they hired Greg Roman, right?
But I mean, listen, it's great for him, especially Jim Harbaugh being an offensive guy himself. I think that they're going to turn things around if they can get that defense right. Everybody stays healthy, especially with the offensive line, like you said, those tackles. That's what hurt them the most. And if they can get that turnaround, they can be extremely competitive in the AFC West, even if Lamar Jackson goes to the Raiders. Wait, wow.
Okay. We did get a super chat from Jair. Thank you very much. Jesse Minter, welcome to Baltimore. This is what I'm talking about right here. Say, a lot of you posted these spoilers in the chat for free. He did it the right way. All right. If you're going to spoil the show, do it in the super chat. All right. Or hit up the Cash App at $LBHTShow. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, those were the only signings so far. We did just get news. Brian Flores has signed an extension in Minnesota to be the defensive coordinator. But again, that's only if he does not get a head coaching job. But obviously, everybody's here to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. What are you laughing
at? A comment. Just keep it moving.
What does it say? What's it say? Go ahead, bring it up, Hendo. Go ahead.
It said, "What happened? Jose got worse looking."
All right. Hey, there's somebody got your back there. Vincente said he got better looking. So there you go.
No, I changed words.
Okay, but moving on to Baltimore,
right?
They have moved on to their second round of interviews. They're interviewing Joe Brady, Jesse Minter, and Anthony Weaver were the names that were out there. Mm-hmm. And everybody kind of assumed that they were waiting for Clint Kubiak as well to be finished with his season. But Jason La Canfora is reporting, maybe not reporting, I guess he's kind of, his opinion. He says execs from multiple NFL front offices who are conducting head coaching searches believe the Ravens are moving close to a final decision and strongly anticipate Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter getting the job. The industry also expected Minter in Baltimore before Harbaugh was let go. I don't have anything against Jesse Minter. Mm-hmm. I think that Jesse Minter is a fine coach, but I can't help but feel like this is kind of an underwhelming hire and just kind of smacks of the same kind of nepotism and the keep it in the family attitude that has been plaguing Baltimore for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disappointing. Hopefully he turns out to be an outstanding head coach, but just listening to people around that organization, he can turn around a defense, but they don't know about his leadership skills as far as leading an entire team. For me, like you said, it's a bunch of star power out there. You had some guys that have been head coaches, have had the experience, and even Bisciotti said it himself. I'm not going to fault them for the situations that they were put in 4 or 5 years ago. So you bring in a guy that knows how to run an organization, especially somebody like a Brian Flores, they got the most out of his players. That was my personal favorite, the choice that I thought that they were going to go with, but I guess the lawsuit just held more merit than most of us believe. But to go with Jesse Minter, like you said, it's nepotism all over again. Even if they hire Anthony Weaver, like it's going in those same circles and not doing anything different, sticking close to that Harbaugh tree.
Yeah, it's certainly, like, again, we don't know how he's going to be as a head coach. He hasn't had that opportunity yet. He could turn out to be a great head coach, right? But it's not an inspiring hire, right? And it's not one that kind of excites you and says, hey, they're really looking to go in a different direction. Like hiring a Clint Kubiak would tell you, hey, you know what? We've self-scouted a bit. We've looked at the past decade and say, hey, man, this isn't working. We need to try something new. But that's not what hiring Jesse Minter says to me, at least. Right. But luckily for Baltimore, they are in a position where, hey, they grab a couple guards, they fix up that O-line, get another weapon on offense maybe, and have that coach to turn the defense around, and they'll be right back in the contender spot that we all thought they would be in this year. I don't know. I kind of hate it. I kind of hate the Jesse Minter thing. I hope that's not true. I hope they are holding out for Clint Kubiak or someone else. I really don't like it at all.
I mean, it's hard to say, but I think they're going to hire him only because I've been in this situation before. I actually had a dream about the same conversation with the same comments. I had a dream about this, and later on I dreamt that Jesse Minter was the coach. Lord. Crazy stuff, but they could be waiting for Clint Kubiak. Unfortunately, they're going to have to wait till after the Super Bowl if they're going to. I know so. If they're going to wait for him, but it just seems like the same old, same old. Plus, we don't know who he's going to bring with him as coordinators. Yes, he is a great defensive mind, but we don't know who his DC is going to be. We don't know who his OC is going to be. And we need to bring somebody in here that's going to get the best out of Lamar. We don't know if that's going to happen.
We know that he worked very closely with Greg Roman recently.
Don't do that.
We did get another super chat from Mazabi. Thank you very much. EDC or Harms, who was responsible for constantly sending players to the Chargers? Afraid they might continue with Minter with his Harbaugh ties. Yeah, I mean, those two organizations are very closely entwined. Obviously, and it's kind of funny that you are allegedly going out to hire the guy who unlocked Odafe Owe, but now you don't have him anymore, right? And you need him far more than the Chargers do.
The irony.
Yeah, maybe you can trade for him back or sign him in the offseason. I don't know if they're talking about an extension for him. Maybe he hits free agency and y'all can bring him back home with a little trade me tax on there.
No, we don't have the money.
You have all of the money.
I mean, we have the money, but the way that we operate as an organization, we don't have the money.
Oh, you don't have the money for him. Okay, gotcha. Listen, I heard that you were going to make a big ticket signing this offseason. That's what you're focused on. Mm-hmm. So If not Odafe Owe, then who?
My sources tell me that the Ravens are looking at DeMarcus Ware.
No, that's a very impactful signing. DeMarcus Ware was one of the spearheads of that 2015 Super Bowl run for the Broncos. So, and I hear he's been getting a lot of rest. He's fully healthy, and he's ready to go. Right?
You know, we like him old.
Jesus. All right. I mean, Von Miller. You could have gone with Von Miller. He's still playing.
Not old enough.
It's disrespectful, man. Like, you don't think? So we all watched the press conference with Steve Bisciotti and EDC, and a lot of people came away from that thinking, "Hey, he's kind of putting Costa on notice." You don't do you think he's receiving that message?
No.
Do you think there's going to be a change in the way he operates?
No, I mean, he said that, listen, we're going to make a splash sign, or we're looking into making a splash sign, but he also reverberated the nonsense of the right player, right price mentality. That has always plagued Baltimore. What is the right player at the right price to win a championship? Then he also said, oh, well, if you sign the wrong player for the wrong amount of money, it could set your franchise back. Being that we have Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, and a bunch of so-called cornerstones on his team, you could have one bad pick, because EDC's had a lot of bad picks throughout his tenure as a Baltimore Ravens general manager, and we still seem to be okay outside of this past year.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's hitting 800 at that draft thing. Right? Like it's uncanny, honestly. No one else even comes close to that. But speaking of like a new look Ravens, right? That's what we're kind of hoping for. They hope you go out and you make that big signing in free agency, or you make that trade. I know a lot of people want Max Crosby, they want Trey Hendrickson, that kind of impact player. I don't see why. I mean, it's like the fans haven't learned anything either, but that's okay. Speaking of that, there's a talk that they have filed to actually change their uniforms, and according to the tweet, it looks like they're going for not just a new alternate uniform. As you see here, I've seen others speculate this could just be an alternate uniform. Like I said in the video from November, the Ravens are planning a redesign of their full uniform closet for 2026. I can also confirm this includes a new alternate helmet and jersey. So, one, do you think a full redesign is necessary for Baltimore? Two, what would you be kind of hoping to see out of that?
I just want to see something that's modernized. I do think that they need a reboot. We've had the same uniforms since the beginning, except for, the first iteration that they got sued over because they stole it from somebody. But the last one,
not y'all. Not the classiest organization in sports.
Yeah, we went to court and lost. Uniforms are fine. I love the Purple Rising uniforms minus the decal. Other than that, that's fine. And of course, the all black uniforms. But we do need to do something a little bit differently. Every other team in the NFL has changed their uniforms, given alternate looks. Like, our throwbacks really look pretty much like the same uniform. So just giving the fans some variety, because we're tired of getting the same old jerseys looking the same way, maybe a black stripe here or a different color scheme there. I think the Ravens are long overdue for this.
Okay. We got another super chat from Jair. Thank you very much. He said, knew from the beginning it was going to be Minter. From the press conference, I knew it. Clint will be in Arizona or Buffalo. Signs that this offseason will be underwhelming. Right price, right player. Unfortunate, but possibly true, looks like. Right. As far as the uniforms, I like the purple, the all purple with the gold face mask. That looks good. I don't like the decal, like you said. It looks kind of cartoonish to me. I don't think that there's going to be any major redesign in Baltimore. Like, they just don't strike me as that kind of organization. Like, you're going to come back with, purple and black, maybe a different shade of yellow, something like that. Maybe a slight redesign, make the Raven look a little more fierce. I don't know, but it's not going to be anything earth-shattering. Mazabi again with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, I watched the whole Bills presser. McDermott looking rosy. He covered up so much dysfunctionality. Would you mind McDermott to the Ravens for a non-head coaching role? What do you think there,
Hendo? You bring in Brian Flores and Sean McDermott, I'm for it. Okay, like
which one of them is going to be your defensive coordinator? Because
they said McDermott is a defensive coordinator. So I'll take him.
How are you bringing Brown Fuller as then?
He's a head coach.
Okay, yeah.
My head coach.
My bad. Okay, let me rephrase that to you. With your head coach Jesse Minter, would you mind having Sean McDermott as the defensive coordinator?
I wouldn't mind. I think he got the most out of that Buffalo's defense, even in years when they've had a lot of injuries. So he can coach defense. I just think that when it comes to being a head coach, he's on the same track and path as John Harbaugh. Like, he can get you there. He has the franchise QB. He can get you there. He just can't get over that hump.
Can he coach defense though?
I think so.
Because, I mean, and look, not that everything comes down to your worst moment, but 13 seconds was his defense, right?
I mean, okay. I mean,
the Chiefs were losing and Tyree threw up the peace sign on him. Like, it wasn't.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and like you said, in your worst moments, but they have overcome certain things. They did it in Baltimore. Like, it was a 4th down in Baltimore with the great defense that we had, and Tyreek Hill burnt us. Like, it happens.
Yeah, your defense sucks too. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very Raven-esque, right? Like what his defenses do and what your defenses have been doing. Like, what would be the change there? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Okay, it wouldn't be none.
Okay, but y'all like continuity though, right? So
that's what they say.
So yeah, Sean McDermott to Baltimore in the DC role. Love it. Absolutely love it. Not going to happen. He's probably going to get a head coach. He's going to get looks at head coaching jobs elsewhere. I mean, it's a little late in the cycle, but
Cleveland's always open. Like 7-Eleven.
Cleveland is always open, and if he doesn't get it this year, he can just put in his ticket for next season.
Whoa, Amani. Whoa.
What?
Whoa now. She said, watch the Ravens get Matt Nagy as the head coach. Listen, he's interviewing for the OC job in Philadelphia. You know, he's going to be the OC in Philadelphia. He's going to go mess up that team up north. No.
You can't be doing that. That's not cool. Like, I joke about the Ravens a lot, but I wouldn't wish that on them. But that does beg the question, with your new head coach, Jesse Minter, who would you like as the offensive and defensive coordinators?
They took all my choices for OC. DC, I'm bringing back Denard Wilson. I know we talk about the nepotism and all that, but I think Denard is one of those guys that actually proved once he left the Ravens, he took the Tennessee Titans and made them the number 1 defense. I wouldn't mind having him as a DC. OC, I don't know. We need to find one of these passing game coordinators and Sean McVay.
Like a Shieldhouse?
Yeah. Shieldhouse.
That's what you're looking for there?
Kyle Shanahan, Disciple. All of those seem to work. Like, you just plug and play them anyway, and they just seem to work. So anybody that can get the best out of Lamar Jackson, I'm for it.
You know, I hear that a lot, that the next offensive coordinator, the next head coach needs to get the most out of Lamar, needs to get him to reach his potential, blah, blah, blah. I feel like the way that you get the most out of Lamar Jackson is just signing a couple guards who can block and getting another receiver not named Rashad Bateman.
Facts.
Because, like, I don't understand why in Baltimore it's got to be that he has one guy to throw to, and he can only do so after evading 3 rushers. That's not the way that I would build a team, is all I'm saying. Like, you know, hey, I'm not a professional over here, right? There's a reason that I'm not a GM, I guess. But just looking at it from the outside, that's not the way that I would do it.
So, as a Panthers fan, what you're telling me is, when you go into games and you're in the hunt for the playoffs and you're fighting for your lives, you shouldn't just have one option to throw to.
Yeah, no, that is. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But yeah, no, you want to have more than one option. And also again, it's not ideal if your quarterback's running for his life. Now, John Harbaugh, you know, he took the job in New York. He's the new head coach over there. He's got final say over all personnel moves. So I don't know why they have a GM still, but whatever. That's not my business. They do say that he is going to be interested in bringing some. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not.
I'm watching you.
That's not how that works. They say he's going to be interested in bringing in some Ravens free agents. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Hey,
thank you. What's going on, everybody? You know what? I said I'm not showing up until we get 200 people in the chat. We just hit 203 people in the chat.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't even
salute
notice.
to
Now
y'all.
I'm nervous. Thanks.
Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit that subscribe button. All right. Thank you everybody for helping us get to 3,000 subscribers.
Yes.
We're
rolling.
probably like a day or two away from hitting 3,100. It's happening that quick. So make it happen tonight. All right. Appreciate y'all. What are we talking about?
We're talking about right now John Harbaugh heading to the New York Giants and possibly targeting some Ravens free agents. I don't know. At least how could I put this delicately? Who do you think deserves the opportunity to make an impact with a new franchise?
Well, obviously, I'm sure you said Falele number one since he is a free agent, right?
Well, we haven't said anybody yet. I mean, I don't know why you're throwing Daniel out there like that.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent, and that is Harbaugh's guy. I mean, let's just be real about it. Like he helped develop him since he was 16 years old. That's why he got every opportunity to play, in Baltimore. And look, I don't think the Giants O-line is nearly as bad of a shape as the Ravens. But when you talk about bringing in your guys, I feel like that's somebody that he might say, okay, I can bring you in here and hide you a little bit more. Maybe you still prove me right, or like you won't look as bad. So I think Falele is there. Pat Ricard. I just don't see. I don't see.
Yes.
The next coach utilizing the fullback.
We already put that out there. Jesse Mendoza.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's in the thumbnail. I don't. Do they use a fullback in? I mean, well, look. I mean, that's Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he's not. He'll do things differently. I don't see him using a fullback.
Yeah, I do. But the one person that I think that he may take, Tyler Linderbaum. He's a free agent. The Ravens didn't pick up his 50 option, and he might decide, hey, y'all didn't want me. I'm going where I'm wanted. And he could take a collection of Ravens with him. He could trade for Marlon Humphrey. He could take Falele, Hard Ricard. Like he could sign Cheeto Awuzie. There are a number of former Ravens that are free agents right now that he could take along with him. Kyle Van Noy. Probably not because he doesn't want a CEO head coach, but probably Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the starting roster is for the O-line. I think O-line they may not need a center.
They may not, but they can
start over their center.
They will, and they could take their center and move them to guard if necessary. Yeah. It's because they have a better offensive line coach, so anything's possible.
So at guard, you got Greg Van Roten and John Runyon. Is this right? Yeah, John Runyon.
Yeah, John Runyon.
All right, and then
Greg Van
is
Roten
Austin Schlotman.
Greg Van Roten's a dude who got not run out of Carolina, but let go from Carolina several years ago. He's a solid guy, but not anything special. That's somebody they could easily look to upgrade from. That would be tragic for Baltimore if he took Tyler Linderbaum. I think, because they have not shown the ability to replace offensive linemen with their current GM.
Well, I mean, it's also a question of how many of those players, will want to go and play for Harbaugh, especially after this year, because there's a good chunk of them that just like, nah, I'm good.
Well, that's more of a question for guys like Benjamin Franklin, I think, right? Like if Benjamin says you want to play for him enough, you want to play for John still. It's all good.
Yeah. And it also depends on the offensive coordinator that we get and what scheme he runs. Yeah. So if he runs a scheme that doesn't deploy a fullback running pass patterns, then Ricard can take his game up north with Harbaugh because he's a loyal guy. Then you look at like Ty said, Isaiah Likely. He doesn't have a contract. He could go up there. The Giants could use
he's heading south though.
The Giants could use the tight end. So depending upon what kind of scheme they deploy, there could be a lot of your favorite Ravens that are playing with John Harbaugh, whether they like him or not, because it's about having a job and sustaining income. So we'll find out. It just depends on if Mentor is that guy, even though he's the first guy to do an in-person interview.
Because it's like Hendo said, it's about security. You guys know John Jenkins and the story that he told when he signed this extension, how that was his first extension in the NFL. He played on 13 consecutive one-year deals. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So if you're a guy who, like you said, Daniel Falele for sure is one. But there's veterans who are coming towards the end of their career, or veterans who are towards the bottom of that roster, and you're like, man, I know John got me. If nothing else, John will sign me and John will keep me. Like, because you can go sign somewhere else and get cut before the start of the season. You know,
I told a story the other day about our friend that played in the NFL, right? That same friend played for Harbaugh in Philly when he was a special teams coach, you know, and he was on a special teams, and he told me that too. He said, "Listen, if you're one of Harbaugh's guys, you will always be looked out for." So when my friend needed an extra year to become eligible for the pension, the NFL pension, and Harbaugh got the job in Baltimore. He said, "Hey, come over here, I got you." You know what I'm saying?
One of his best qualities as a human, and one of his worst qualities as a coach.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, you know, it's unfortunate since he is a coach professionally, but you know, that's a great quality to have. Gotta love that about somebody. But we did talk about Jesse Minter and how disappointing a hire that would be. Not because he's a bad coach, but just because it would represent a continuation of their keeping it in-house philosophy and just hiring guys they know, not willing to break out of that pattern. And I asked Hendo this, I'm going to ask you as well. Who would you prefer as the offensive and defensive coordinators with your new head coach, Jesse Minter? Don't fight that. That's happening.
Hey, I mean, listen, I share that sentiment, you know, but like you said, I don't necessarily think he'll be a bad coach, you know. And you know, there's some familiarity there. Did I say that right?
Familiarity.
That's one you just got to speed run because
but you know, I think he's kind of far enough away from Harbaugh to where it's not it can be similar, but it's not the same. You know, Harbaugh's Harbaugh. You know, Minter could come in here and do a good job and give a fresh perspective still. Not my first choice. But to answer your question, I think I saw before I joined the stream that Flores is going back to Minnesota. Is that true?
He signed an extension, so he's going back if he does not get a head coaching job.
Gotcha. Okay. So if we're saying Minter is the head coach, Flores is off the table. Mike McDaniel went to the Chargers where Minter will be exiting. Shieldhouse, you know, Shieldhouse is a pass game coordinator / QB coach. So he could be tempted to, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, to move up. This is a vertical move for him to go to offensive coordinator, and that could put him in position to get a head coaching job next year. So that'd be high on my list. Defensive coordinator, I don't know, man.
It's tough.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm sticking with my guy Al Harris because you got
Al Harris. There you go.
Put a lot of resources into that secondary for them to not catch a lot of passes.
That's a good. Good point.
Yeah, you need somebody in there who can turn that group around specifically.
Yeah.
And I think
no good.
And I don't think that it's really a disappointment with Jesse Minter. I think it's the fact that a lot of us believe we have a Super Bowl ready roster right now, and we want to bring in an experienced coach that we possibly can go to the Super Bowl next season with. If we bring in Minter, it might take a season or two for him to get acclimated to all of his responsibilities and duties. So it's not that we're disappointed that he could be the coach. It's just that we expected something like what happened in 2001 with John Gruden when he took over for Tony Dungy. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about the uniform change?
A little bit.
Okay.
So really, I don't think that there's going to be a major shift in the uniforms for Baltimore. I just don't see that kind of franchise that's going to come out and kind of, you know, dazzle the fans with something brand new, right? I thought it's going to be purple, it's going to be black, it's going to be a little different shade of gold.
We're gonna have some all white everything. I
want them to go like Oregon route. Like it's a different uniform every week. That's what I want.
Listen. Honestly though, if that is the one change that I would make if I were them. You got the all purple, right? You got the gold face mask that looks good. Make the helmet that metallic, that chrome, and put the wings that Oregon uses instead of that ridiculous looking sticker that you have on there now.
I like that.
You don't like the wings?
No, I don't like the Ravens logo on the purple
uniforms.
Horizon.
Whoop-de-doo.
Okay,
you gotta take what you can get.
Why don't you try to enjoy life for a minute, Kwame?
First of all, look good, feel good. That's real.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real. You know,
Play
Why
good,
do you think them creamsicle Bucks went 0-26?
When you go to the gym, you just throw on whatever. You sure don't. You sure don't. You know, you not say you getting all dressed up, but you don't go in there. You want to look like that. You about something when you go to work out. You know, you're not there looking at anybody. You looking at yourself.
Right.
All right. So yeah. You know, I'm for it. Yeah, go the Oregon route. I don't want just a little. Hey, you know, we changed the
decal.
Yeah, right, or the patterns, or the
right.
whatever patterns on the jersey. You know,
don't go back to the mustard color pants. Good gosh, no,
disgusting.
No.
Don't do that.
Where did it even come from? Why'd you do that,
bro?
Because
that made no sense.
Being different. The 51 asks, can I play that piano? Yes, I prefer the violin, but I can play the piano as well. There you can't see it in the frame, but there is a harp in the next room. I get down on that.
One of these lives he'll play it for you.
No, that's a Patreon thing. That's a Patreon
how we feel about Clint. Well, our insider over in Seattle, Megan, said that's not going to happen. Clint is going to stay in Seattle. Now listen, that's possible. I know we're thinking, hey, when you're a hot candidate, you take the job, but Clint Kubiak comes from, he doesn't have to. He's not pressured to do anything. He has that pedigree. He comes from a family that has a lot of ties in the NFL. If he doesn't want to take a job this year, another job will present itself next year.
And Clint Kubiak has not had the same job 2 years in a row. So maybe let him show something for a couple seasons. I mean, I know we all like Clint Kubiak, but he's been the offensive coordinator twice before, and he didn't get a second year because the head coach got fired both times.
Yeah. All right. So, man, 228 people in here. Salute to y'all. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit that subscribe button. I can't wait till we actually get a head coach. Let's see what that turnout looks like in here.
Well, you may not be waiting too long.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, coaches are signing. I know they're doing a second round of interviews. We'll see. I feel like it's not going to. I mean, I figured that from the jump. I figured it wouldn't be the person that we're thinking. We're all saying Flores. We're trying to speak it into existence, but I didn't really think Flores had a shot to get the job here. But it's wishful thinking until it actually happens. And listen, man. Like, yes, I know Lockenfor said, it looks like Mike Minter is a thing. Like, we'll see. We'll see if his sources are right.
Jason ain't never lied.
I mean, I wonder who his sources are because the Ravens can't stand him.
It said NFL execs around the league. That's where he's getting it from.
Yeah.
And it's not reporting that he's going to be the coach. It's that's what everyone around the league believes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm still disappointed that Flores didn't get a second interview. Like they said, they were going to narrow it down to 4 or 5 candidates. I was at least hoping he would make it to the final process. But if just the way that they're going, I mean,
I guess what I was saying, it's not right what the league did with him, but I ain't trying to hire somebody who's suing me either.
He's not suing.
He's not suing the Ravens.
He's suing the league.
He's suing the Giants.
He's
suing the league via Giants.
And the Dolphins.
Super chat. And the Dolphins, yeah.
Tyreek says, what
coaches still playing? We waiting on?
You got Clint Kubiak. You got. I mean, they haven't talked to Mike LaFleur, but he's still going. You got Shieldhouse, who's still coaching as well. Chris Shula is obviously still coaching. I don't think that they had any real interest in anybody else. Yeah.
I mean, he got an interview,
Yeah. But he's still coaching for a little while longer.
Yeah, a few more days.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see. Like I said, the head coach is one part of it, one piece of it. I want to see what that coaching staff looks like. Not just the coordinators. I want to see all the way down to the position coaches, because I think that played a major part in the failures for Zach Orr, is he didn't have strong position coaches around him. And Mike McDonald did. Right.
Yeah. That's the other question I wanted to ask. The story is out there now that they are holding a lot of the assistant coaches in Baltimore until they make their head coaching hire to see, to have them kind of interview those assistants, see if they want to keep anybody.
Oh, you mean this right here?
Yes. Ravens special team coordinator Chris Horton is among a handful of coaches the team has blocked for lateral moves, sources say. His assistant Anthony Levine Sr. and senior special teams coach Randy Brown might also be retained pending the new head coaching hire. First off, why special teams? Whatever. But how would y'all feel about bringing back a chunk of the previous staff with the new head coach?
Get them all gone.
I think you have to leave that up to the head coach, right? The only time you make moves like this is when you're getting a very inexperienced coach. When I say very inexperienced, I'm talking about you bring somebody up from college, right? And me and B talked about that. You see somebody that you see a lot of potential in, and you think they can really be an excellent coach at this level, but you don't give them free reign coming out. You say, all right, we're hiring you, but we're bringing, we're going to help you put together your staff to help you with those little nuanced things. That's when you retain certain coaches to guide them through that. But we damn sure better not be looking in college. I'll tell you that, But anybody else, even like first time head coaches, like if we get Clint Kubiak has enough NFL experience to select his coaching staff. I don't want them saying, hey, you're handcuffed to these guys.
And that's my thing too. Is like, okay, you can have them talk to the coaches if you want, I guess, but you know them better than he will, right? So if they need to be retained or if they need to be let go, and they need to be let go. So I don't like it from that standpoint. I don't like that for the Ravens. And I especially don't like it for the assistant coaches because they're likely not going to be retained, most of them, if not all of them. And all you're doing is preventing them from getting another job, which is what they're going to have to do. People are out there getting jobs right now. They're just not going to have the same opportunities in a week when you make your announcement and then finally release them.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. But just looking at the Ravens situation, if you look at how Jerry Rossberg used to run this special teams, we used to be one of the elite special teams in the NFL. Ever since he left, we've gone downhill. Now, yes, we have a Pro Bowl punter who, in his last contract year, of course, he finally made it all pro. But that doesn't make our special teams good. So why would you retain somebody for the previous regime that didn't get the job done? Let that head coach come in and pick his guys. If I'm going to sink or swim, I'm going to sink or swim with the people that I choose. Most of these guys have playbooks already set up. They have coaches in mind who they want to hire and bring with them. So why retain somebody, like Brodny said, just for a week or two now when you decide to make that head coaching job, there's less opportunity for them to go around the league and find something somewhere else.
Yeah, you had a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro returner as well. Ernest says, why mentor if you truly want change? Thank you very much for the super chat. Ernest. Appreciate that. The answer to your question is no, they don't want change.
Well, okay, all right. Let's calm it down for a second. Let's rewind for a second. If Jesse Minter did not coach under Harbaugh, he had no ties to the Harbaughs, would you feel better about that pick?
Yeah, I would feel better about the pick. Like I said, I don't. It's not about his ability as a coach. It's about the fact that the appearance is that they're only interviewing him because he works for the Harbaughs and he worked in Baltimore. Because there's other good defensive coordinators out there.
That's more for the chat. I'm asking that question because everybody wanted Mike McDonald here, right? Everybody still wants Mike McDonald here. Everybody's looking at Mike McDonald saying that's not fair what he's doing in Seattle. That's our coach. He's a Harbaugh guy, right? So. Just because, and I look, I feel with everybody's sentiment, right? Like, look, we're supposed to be moving away from this, and this is a guy that has ties to the organization. We're supposed to go on a different route, but that doesn't mean he's Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Right. Like he could come in here and do what Mike McDonald's doing, possibly. But I get the feel. I'm just saying, like, what's really going on here is you all in the chat are so sick of Harbaugh, even though we warned you for years that it was time for him to go. It would have been better for him to go when you guys still loved him. But now when you guys turn on somebody, you turn on that man.
Yeah.
You don't want to hire a person with the letter H in their name. Okay, that's where you're at.
Right. But it's this, like he said, it's the aesthetics of it all, just the Harbaugh thing. But with Mike McDonald, the difference was he was sent to go be with the good Harbaugh first, and then came back.
But hey, you know what? He's with the good Harbaugh now.
Yeah, but he started out with the bad one.
But I think the other big difference is that Mike McDonald's defense was better than Jesse Minter's defense. We got another super chat from Wandering Raven. Thank you very much. Says, if the Minter rumor is true, the Owe trade was his first interview. We talked about that, about how you're going to be getting the coach that unlocked Odafe Owe and you no longer have him.
Potentially.
So, okay, real quick, a quick commercial break. We got 258 people in here. Salute.
Let's go.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Also, I want to direct your attention to that pin link that you see in the chat box. That will take you to our Patreon. Don't be afraid of that link. Click it. Okay? Click it. You get more of this. All right? We do an overtime show after this show, which is a lot of fun. That's on our Patreon. Patreon.com/LBHTShow for as little as $5 a month. If you want the $10 tier, you can sign up for this. Speaking of $10 tier, thank you, Mark 2K6 for signing up. He signed up for the $10 tier. I sent you a message. I just want to confirm your address before I send you out this coin. It's this coin right here. You get one of these for the $10 tier. All right. $5 tier gets you a lot. Access to the overtime show, access to our Discord channel. It's a whole lot of fun. All right. So check it out. Consider being a member, especially if you're donating, being generous as you are. $5 a month, or you can sign up annually, and really you can thank us later. All right. Also, LBHTShow.com. That's where, if you like what I'm wearing right here, you like what B's wearing, you like what Hendo's wearing, all that is on the website, LBHTShow.com. All right. So check it out and sign up for our newsletter. Yes, it still exists. Okay. I've been a little slow getting it out there. All right. But just, man, don't worry about it. It's free. Go in there, put your email in there, and just be patient. I'm going to get one out there soon. All right. And you get a 77 jersey. So we talked about, you mentioned earlier, Harbaugh poaching from the Ravens. Do you see a scenario where we hire Jesse Minter and Owe comes back?
No, I don't think so, because like they tried to get an extension done, and they don't want to pay him, I don't think, and that's why they decided to move him for yet another safety. I think that was a DaCosta decision. Hey, I don't want this guy here long term, or I'm not willing to pay him long term what he's most likely going to make. So let's get something for him right now. But
you don't think if they get Minter and Minter says, "Oh no, he is the guy that you were looking for. He was just being used wrong. I know how to use him, and the proof is in the pudding." Right. As soon as you put him in good hands, you saw what I could do with him. You know.
Well, according to Game Too Easy, Owe is still mid. Like Cam Jordan said, sacks are an overrated stat. But you know what? Game Too Easy, sacks are an overrated stat. But he was getting a lot of pressure in Baltimore, and Baltimore fans weren't happy about that.
Y'all don't respect it. Y'all want to see the
sacks. Like he does both. He's not mid. He's a little better than that. And even if he was mid game, and this is just be between you and me because I don't want to disrespect my co-host here, he would still be the best edge rusher in Baltimore. We got another super chat from Ernest. Thank you very much. It's bad enough we still have EDC.
Listen, y'all can say what y'all want, and I've joked about Owe over the years, but think about this for a minute. The most important thing is, would Owe want to come back? Get Jesse. Forget everything else. Would he want to come back? Because he was genuinely hurt that they used him as a scapegoat and traded him, saying that he was the reason the defense was so bad. But you may say he's mid. You may think that he didn't live up to his potential. Tell me what Ravens player over the last 10 seasons got 3 sacks in a playoff game, much less 2.
None. 0. Zilch. Nada.
Mm-hmm.
Nada. Now, yeah, he might be hurt, but if the coach that you just came and you're just playing for says, "Come with me back to Baltimore," I'm not saying that's a definite yes, but it definitely gives both sides something to think about. Hey, I want this guy back here. You know, you guys see how I made it work here. I know he's going to come over here and do great. You go to always say, hey, I want you to come with me over here. You know, we're going to take care of you, whatever. It's not, you know, it's not hardball there. It's Jesse. Like you establish a relationship. He kind of jump started your career, help put you in a position to make some money as a free agent. He'll definitely consider it for sure.
True, but like Brodny said, it's the most important thing is Jesse Mender's cousin, Benjamin. What Benjamin says is going to dictate everything.
And that's the thing.
The second cousin.
They didn't want to pay him. And Owe, you remember, he's a one contract guy. Like he's going to get one shot at free agency, most likely. Yeah. Like this is it. This is his big payday, and he's got to take the most money that he can get. Because I mean, look, there's obviously he could extend his career and get another shot at it, but most likely this is the only time he's going to be able to cash in.
Right.
And Baltimore ain't the place to cash in.
No, I agree. I just throwing it out there, you know. We don't rush to get sacks. We rush to contain the QB. That's what Chris Smith is teaching guys in Baltimore. Well,
guess y'all should fire Chris Smith.
Man, I didn't know we hired Chris Smith.
Right.
Man,
that's what they taught in Baltimore.
All about philosophy.
All right. Do we want to go over to the did we talk about these proposed rule changes? All right, do you want to bring that up, Adelia? The NFL priorities. This is
this to help Josh Allen again? Oh, never mind.
This is Patriots owner Robert Kraft revealed the NFL's upcoming priorities to the Sports Hub. I guess that's a radio station. So 18 regular season games, two preseason games, which is down from 3.
Yeah.
And then international game for each team every season. What do you guys think about that? Go from 17 to 18 games, only get 2 preseason games, and then at least one international game for each team, or one international game for each team.
I don't like the 18 game thing. It's a very brutal sport. 17 is already too many, and plus it'll take away the one added bonus of a 17 game schedule. You can't hide at 500 anymore. You're either a winner or a loser, so that'll go away. Excuse me. I do like an international game for everybody. I like the push to grow the game internationally. Like other fans in other countries getting a chance to, not the Jaguars, but getting a chance to see everything else, and maybe become fans of these teams and these players. The preseason, I don't like the preseason change either, because a lot of fans will tell you that the preseason doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily matter for veteran players who are established and all that. It matters for younger players who are still trying to find their way, and it definitely matters for players who are on the fringe of making the roster, and they're trying to make their team or audition for another team after they get cut, and that's just giving them even less time to do that, because the actual starters do have to play a bit in the preseason, to get ready for the regular season. So now you're just cutting that down even more.
Unless you're in Baltimore. But
Carolina.
But
what you think?
I don't like it. The 2 preseason games, like you said, you got guys that are fighting for their NFL lives on the bubble. Now, if you were to expand the NFL rosters, I'm for that. The 18 game schedule, as a fan, I love it because it gives us more football. But as somebody that thinks logically, I'm not for it, because those last 2 games technically aren't really going to mean anything. We're going to get a lot of watered down football, and for the players, they're not going to get more money. They're just going to spread their checks out over 18 weeks. Versus a pay increase. So now you have disgruntled players, disgruntled workers, and it's going to lead for a much less successful environment for the NFL. International games, I'm not for it. Most players don't like traveling internationally anyway. And a lot of those games, some of the players are jet lagged, and we don't really see a lot of good football, most likely, depending on how far they have to travel. So I'm not with the international games. But I do like growing the sport globally, though. I do appreciate that aspect of it.
Yeah,
sorry. No, I was saying, you hit the nail on the head. Like the players not getting more money for it, you're just stretching out their money. They're already light protesting the extra game by just not playing like they treat the first few weeks at like preseason. When you look at these teams, like, yo, what's wrong with these guys? Like, why are they off? Because they're not taking those first few weeks seriously. They're like, all right, this is just preseason for us. Or, hey, I'm gonna sit out a week. People made a big deal about Lamar. Could he have played and did he fake it? Every player is taking at least one game off. Okay, because they're not getting paid for that extra game. Every player is going to find a way. It's just basically PTO, and owners know that. They don't care. They just want the extra game. Well, you're going to see them take 2 games off now.
All right.
Okay, but I agree with expanded rosters. That should definitely happen. And I mean expanded. Not just like really expanded. And also they need to go the opposite way with preseason games. They need to add more. Like I want to see like 5 or 6 preseason games, right? To really develop these guys. And then you give because I think veterans need preseason too. They need that dress. It used to be a dress rehearsal game, right? Yeah. That last game. Yeah, the third one. I'm sorry, the third one. To really run through everything and kind of work out some of those things that they need to work on before the season starts, so they get off to a faster start. And me and B talk about it all the time for the Panthers. I think if the Panthers took preseason a little bit more seriously, they would have got off to a much better start. For the season, they could have won a couple of those games because it was just mistakes that they hadn't worked out yet. Yeah. So yeah,
and I do agree about expanding preseason and the rosters in general, but I think that also should go hand in hand with a real minor league for the NFL, and then because there's a lot of guys who have the potential to play in the league, but there aren't enough spots and they don't get enough reps and they just don't get developed, and then you end up in the UFL, which is not a great product. You end up in maybe the CFL and nobody ever sees you again. Potentially, but you start up a actual developmental league for the NFL, and the players or the teams retain rights to players as they play in that league. You can call them up for the preseason. They get to play in, let's say, 3 of those games, and then the starters come in and get themselves ready for a couple weeks before the season starts. I think the league is sorely lacking in that because, again, you look around the NFL. You have a problem developing quarterbacks. As you can see, like, listen, Daniel Jones, he played in New York for several years and they gave up on him. And then he went somewhere else where he got better coaching and he was an MVP candidate until he got hurt. Right. Baker Mayfield was up and down in Cleveland. For over his 4 years. He got cut in Carolina. He was terrible. He got cut I don't think he got cut from the Rams, but he wasn't retained in LA. He gets to Tampa Bay and he's turned his career around, right? Sam Darnold, several years in New York. Awful. Seeing ghosts. They laughed at him.
Yeah.
Right? You trade him to Carolina, same thing. He's not developed in Carolina. You got a college coach over there, and he doesn't know what he's doing with Sam either. Looks awful. And he gets another shot in Minnesota. He gets some good coaching, and he turns things around, and now he's on to Seattle, and he's keeping it going. Same thing with Geno Smith. They derailed his entire career because he wasn't developed in New York. And then a decade later, he gets into a spot with a good system around him, a good coach, and he plays like a franchise quarterback. So you have that lack of development, and it's because of job security, but it's still a lack of a development. Then you look at the O-line. There's not a team in the league with 5 good O-linemen, basically. They're almost as valuable as quarterbacks because they're so difficult to find, right? I mean, you got Baltimore with the best player on earth, and they're just like, look, we can't find 2 more guys. Like you
do what you can do.
I mean, you remember we always joke about Chuck Pagano in Indy when he was talking about Andrew Luck. He got all those injuries.
He said he just needs to deal with it.
He's like, deal with it. Like know they can't block, bro.
Right.
Deal. And Andrew said,
that's what I knew. I was like, yeah, you can't be a head coach anymore.
But, you have another.
That can't be an answer.
Yeah, but you have a minor league where players can get those reps. They get coached up by NFL coaches who are also gaining experience running that team, while they're still position coaches or coordinators in the NFL. And, you have a pipeline of better prepared players to come in, and it sustains the quality of the game when you do have injuries.
Facts. And Jose, I was against your 4, 5, 6 preseason game schedule, but then I just thought about it, and I thought about this. Now that John Harbaugh's gone, we may possibly bring in a head coach that's not scared anymore to have his players go down during the preseason, and they may actually get some playing time. We use our first 2 games as our preseason game for our starters. With that 5-game schedule, you don't have to play them a whole bunch of quarters, but they can get reacclimated to contact, reacclimated, you know what I'm saying, to the speed of the game, so you don't get these soft tissue injuries. And when it comes to the international game, like Ty said, if you really want to expand this game, make it free on local TV around the world. Stop having them to have to pay for these subscriptions to watch the NFL.
Yeah. Well, it's not just to get the veterans reacclimated, right? Because they shouldn't play that much. But if we're talking about expanded roster, that gives those young guys a lot of work, to really, help develop them more. Because when the season starts, they're not going to be playing that much, right?
Yeah. But for the Ravens, they need that work. Because like I said, when J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards went down and John Harbaugh was like, y'all dudes ain't playing no more. Now I'm going from just practicing to straight game day, because they don't get no work in preseason games. They just go from practice, training camp, game day. And then we get these soft tissue injuries or these lower extremity injuries. And it's like, oh, how's he hurt already? He just played 1 game.
Yeah. God's favorite says maybe college should be that developmental league. Just a thought. That's not the purpose of of college sports, and you don't have control over those teams. Those teams are trying to win. They're not trying to develop those players for your team. Also,
college can't replicate NFL.
No.
Yeah. No.
Right? Like, college is college, NFL is NFL. I don't care if you play the gauntlet of the SEC and you're playing Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss. When you get to the NFL, that's different. Right? And you still need to develop.
No, he's saying, I know, but it should be. No, it shouldn't be. It's a different sport. Like the coaches in college are not worried about what these kids are going to do when they get to the pros. They're worried about how they can how they can help them win games and help them get a new contract, help them get a new job. They're not worried about their career a decade from now.
Yeah. We talked about it this morning. You brought up Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker had some choice words about Kevin Stefanski and how he can't wait to play him twice a year. And my thing is this, in this media world where the market is Lamar Jackson market, and that's the only thing they can talk about, and he gets scrutinized for every little thing. Here we have a former first-round pick picked in the same draft as Lamar Jackson. Number one, always plays with a chip on his shoulder, always has something a little chippy to say. Stars in every progressive commercial, which and I ain't got no problem with him, right? But at what point do you say to yourself, I'm not good enough to be doing all this talking? Because he had a very disappointing season this year. He started out red hot and he cooled all the way off. And he out here chirping, talking about, I can't wait to play him 2 times next year. Stefanski's like, shoot, I can't wait to play you 2 times next year.
You know why he cooled off?
I saw what they just did to you.
You know why he cooled off? Because he ain't had nothing to get him angry every Sunday. He learned from that. He's banking stuff right now. Like he had to manufacture that with Carolina at the end of the season. About how they tossed him out like garbage. No, you played like garbage, Baker. Like that was Carolina wanted you to be the guy. You just weren't him. And so he's got that motivation for those 2 games. Now he's got motivation for 2 games against Atlanta. If he can find some way to hate the other 31 teams, he'll be the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah. All right. You want to move over to the Cam Newton story? This is our court of public opinion. We used to have a whole video to introduce the court of public opinion. We got to bring that back over. But listen, court of public opinion. All right, it may not be a real court, but it is the court that you need. All right. So what do we have here?
One second. Chaos, we're talking about Baker Mayfield. He tweeted about Stefanski because somebody said that they failed in Cleveland with him, and he's like, failures to stretch, blah, blah, blah. And I guess Stefanski never reached out to him after they got rid of him, and he's upset about that. So he's looking forward to playing him twice a year in Atlanta.
Whoa. X, I know you're trolling here. Deion Sanders better than Minter? At what? I mean, a better player, 100,000 times better than
better talker.
You talking about coaching?
Better grifter for sure.
I can't. Listen. I can't get with you on Dion being a better coach. I'm sorry. Is he or she #guilty? Oh, slow down, just slow down.
Because Allo gotta go to bed. He need to know that.
All right, well, just I hate to tell you, but like this is like a 4-minute video I got played.
You about to be guilty in a minute.
This is so Cam Newton on the show. He's talking about Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, getting this executive job over with the Falcons, right? And he just says, "Hey, no disrespect to Matt Ryan, but how do these former white players keep getting these jobs, but the former black players don't get these jobs? How are we not qualified, but they're qualified?" And I listen. It's a 14-minute video. We're not playing 14 minutes. I clipped it down to about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, just highlight some of the things that he was saying, because I think he made some valid points, and I want to discuss it. So, could you bring that up, Adelia?
To be able to get back into that environment in the organization, that I spent so much time with, it was one of one. I am so appreciative of my friends.
Talk about your 3 boys so much.
I'm happy for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yep.
But I won't be me if I don't keep it at a buck.
Well, keep it G then.
I'm all for former players stepping into executive leadership with different franchises and organizations. Make no mistake about that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me be abundantly clear. There's a vast difference in who's getting these jobs. What my point is, as far as giving or being an advocate to minority former players having a seat at the table as well too in the executive leadership position.
Yeah.
That's football operations, that's general managers, that's anything.
President, whatever.
It don't listen, dog. Hey, we experts too. And this is no shot at Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
This is no shot at John Lynch. This is no shot at Dan Morgan. The list goes on. This is no shot at Mark Murphy, former president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers, Tony Basile, executive president of football operations for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Rand Cawthron, general manager for the Tennessee Titans. I'm not going to sit up here and denounce what Dan Morgan has brought to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
But they all are Caucasians. When are we, as minority individuals, going to have a seat or an opportunity?
Yeah. Because you're the majority of the NFL. Playing.
Like, ain't nobody going to keep... How Matt Ryan get that job?
Yeah. Let's just have a conversation.
Let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
Then you will say, okay, Cam, what's your point? Who would you want? Well, it's simple. You got guys like Louis Riddick, who is actively tried to, fill a void for a general manager position. He's still working at ESPN. I got a fond respect of an individual that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis. Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark will be a hell of an executive leader. He carries himself in a very godlike figure, very articulate, understands the game of football.
Yeah.
And then I would even say this particular person, Larry Fitzgerald. These individuals know ball, bro.
Experience not there?
Any player who has ever played this game will better serve as an executive leader for a football team. There's no other option better than a former player.
Why do you say so?
Because they are in the trenches on a day-to-day basis. Not just being around it. No. We know what players want because we were a player.
Right, yeah.
And this is not a knock to John Lynch. This is not a knock to Matt Ryan. This is not a knock to any other specific individuals that I named. But I will remind you, one of the greatest GMs to ever do it and to implement his greatness was a GM and a former player by the name of Ozzie Newsome. The culprit, the person who orchestrated and conducted the dynasty for the Baltimore Ravens. He was credited for drafting guys like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Haloti Ngata, Joe Flacco, Lamar. So we not able.
So, he said a lot there, but I'm glad that at that last part he mentioned Lamar Jackson, because there are a lot of Ravens fans that don't realize EDC did not draft Lamar Jackson. We've corrected plenty of people on this channel when we say, hey, EDC hasn't hit. We say he hasn't hit on anybody, and they're like, he drafted Lamar. No, he did not. He did not. That was Ozzie. And that's kind of pointing to what Lamar says about how, former black players or just black, execs, like how they're viewed and how they don't get these opportunities over their white counterparts. It used to be that way at quarterback. Then it used to be that way at head coach. It's still that way at head coach. That's why you have the Rooney Rule. It's definitely that way when you get into the front office. So.
Yeah, I do want to point out one thing firstly. He was wrong about one guy. Rand Carthon is black. I don't know why he had him on the list, but he is black. But generally speaking, he's correct that those jobs are more easily attained by former white players, former players, not former white.
I wasn't ready. I should have said it out here.
But it's it seems like those guys kind of walk off the field and straight into jobs that were reserved for them. Whether even if it's not with the even if it's not with their former team or in a front office or whatever, like you got guys like Tom Brady who Tony Romo walked right off the field into the top spots in media, right? In terms of calling games, and it just doesn't go the same way for black players. I know that he's asking why, but we all know why. It's a racist league, and it always has been a racist league. Parts of that change slowly over time. Parts of it have been forced into change. But I mean, it's the same people running the league, And listen, Jerry Jones, for all his faults, Jerry Jones will open his mouth and he will tell you the truth. Because you can't touch Jerry Jones. He's like, I hire people I know. And that's just what it is. Like, that's why I hired. He named some specific people. It's like I hired. I think it was Barry Switzer and a couple other guys. He's like, I hired him because I know him. And until that is no longer the case, you're gonna have issues like this.
Right. Listen, Jerry Jones. We saw the picture. We saw you at school, because one thing that kind of takes away from what he said was, look at what Al Davis did. We got him today, bro. We got him today. But look at what Al Davis did. He hired people around him too, but it didn't matter what color they were. And to me, it goes even outside the realm of the NFL. Look at Andrew Luck at Stanford. Like, they just retire and get jobs at certain rates. Now, one thing that has opened my eyes, I don't know who said it. You guys might have been the ones that said this. And it went like, it's not always about racism, but mostly 95% it is. It's about these owners knowing that they have to sit down at dinner with them and their wives and have conversations with certain people. And they're not ready to do that because they don't feel comfortable with, a hip hop coach bringing his wife in to their mansion and sitting down having dinner because they don't know what to say to him. So it's a lot of factors plus the racism that goes into this, but it's crazy. Like, these players, Matt Ryan, and shout out to you. Good luck. He may do an outstanding job, but you have no qualifications.
Stop that. Good luck.
I don't want nobody.
He went to Atlanta. Screw that guy.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, screw Atlanta.
But you know, I agree with you, Hendo. It's one of those things where it's like they don't feel like they can connect with the coach, and they don't know, like you said, like they don't know what the say to them and whatnot. But that speaks to their lack of professionalism. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to be friends. You don't have to necessarily understand them, but it's a job. Well, are you qualified to do the job? Can you do a good job? That, you know, and we can maintain a level of professionalism, and that's how you get to know different people, right? You work with them, and you learn something. They're supposed to kind of be able to see the things that, you know, point out your blind spots, you know. Right. The things that you don't see, they can see, and vice versa. That's how you work together.
And I think that it is that, you know, they're not comfortable around other types of people, right? But and can't relate to them. But I think even more so, it's the assumption that those people couldn't relate to them.
This is facts,
right? Like, hey, you know, how is this person going to react when I bring him around my billionaire friends? You know, in these places that they normally don't have access to, you know, they're not going to know how to act there. They're going to embarrass me, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to bring in people that I know, people that have been in these spaces, people that I know how to act in these spaces.
And, you know, I think it's actually worse than that. I think they just think they're not smart enough for those jobs.
Well,
like,
yeah,
it's not even like how they're going to act around people. I don't think they're smart enough to make the right personnel decisions. I don't think they're smart enough to, you know, scout the right players, bring in the right players for the coach, right. You know, hire the right coach. They don't think that they're smart enough to do those things. And I even saw somebody in the comment section saying, "Hey, Ryan Clark, no, like, why not? John Lynch is a GM. Right. What's the difference?" Well, I mean, listen. I know why you say no, Ryan Clark. You see Ryan Clark on the podcast. You see him on TV. You may or may not like his personality. But why do you think he's not smart enough to do what John Lynch does? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Dan Morgan, I mean, no disrespect to, you know, like, I mean, I don't think Dan Morgan's doing a bad job, but why would you think Dan Morgan can do the job and not Ryan Clark?
And then Cam just laid out
Larry Fitzgerald.
And then Cam just laid out the blueprint for you. He laid it out. He said, Ozzie Newsome, name me a Caucasian general manager, team president, whomever, whose first 2 picks were Hall of Famers. You can't. Jerry Reese with the Giants.
Well, I was just looking up Jerry Reese. It's funny you mentioned that, because Jerry Reese won 2 Super Bowls as the GM of the New York Giants. And, you know, then 6 years later, he was fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John Harbaugh won 1 Super Bowl and got fired, you know, 12, 13 years later, and people act like it's the tragedy of the century. I didn't hear any uproar when they fired Jerry Reese, who beat the Patriots twice.
Yep,
the undefeated. Patriots.
Yeah,
and then went back and beat them again, and they fired him, and they're like, good,
right? Haven't heard from him since.
You know, and listen, they were awful as last year. They were 3-13, but the year before that, they were 11-5.
Facts, Ray. Facts. His last first-round pick, the Hall of Famer. Yeah. His first round pick Hall of Famer, his last first round pick a Hall of Famer. Crazy. Nobody else is doing it.
And a few Hall of Famers in between. Ed Reed, like he made Ed Reed, Halinatus. Like
Dan Morgan's doing that if you don't count his first.
Suggs is a finalist this year. Marshall Yonda is a finalist this year. Like, he's put together a career that most of these recycled GMs could never even dream of, and he's proven to people. Anybody can do it. If you have the knowledge, especially as a former player, you can get it done. You can win Super Bowls with black coaches, black quarterbacks, black executives. But these guys are just so stuck in their ways. They keep recycling these coaches and these guys around the league and wonder why they're not winning as a franchise.
Yep. All right.
Well, it's funny because we talked about this years ago about black head coaches. And the people will always just say, hey, you know, just hire whoever's best for the job, right? Don't worry about that. But if you look at the actual numbers, black head coaches are far more successful than white head coaches, you know, in terms of their record and accomplishments, because you have to be exceptional as a black professional to get to the same places that white professionals get to by just being there.
And that's why I wanted Brian Flores, because he understands the urgency on a team that's trying to win Super Bowls. He understands that more than any of these other candidates.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
Baseball Life. So thank you very much for the super chat. They treat Ozzy like the Unk from Tenderness. What?
That is a fact. That is 100% fact.
The restaurant,
the barbecue spot. Yeah, they started off as a coffee spot, and just came down there and was like, "You need to change your menu up. You need to do this," and they got really famous. And he was in all the commercials and all the promos, so people thought that was his restaurant.
That's what I thought.
And the owner got too jealous that this black man was getting all the credit for his restaurant that he had to come up like, "This ain't his, this is mine." And then people like, "I ain't going there."
I made him. No,
he made
your restaurant.
Right. You would still be some little coffee shop that nobody's going to.
There's a reason why you use him to promote your stuff and not you.
Facts.
You know what you're doing.
Oh, Jonathan Ogden, forgot about him. I mean, well, he was the first pick. Jonathan Ogden, like Ozzy just
Ogden and Ray Lewis.
Amazing job.
So it's two Hall of Famers there.
Yeah. Man.
So I mean, yeah. All right. We have a submitted question, B. We're going to do submitted questions. We'll read a couple more comments, and then we are going to hit the overtime show, which you can find on our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT show, right? That's how you do it. This graphic right here. Patreon. There we go. That's the up there. Patreon.com/LBHT show. Follow us on all social media at LBHT show. It's at LBHT show on everything. All right. And then LBHTShow.com is where you can sign up for the newsletter and buy some merch. All right. Do you have $5 in your pocket? I know you do. Sign up for Patreon. Sign up. Come hang out with us for the overtime show. We're going to talk about college players getting paid for following the NCAA rules. We're going to talk about a 30-year-old quarterback who's fighting to stay in college because he, even though he could potentially be a first-round pick, he's like, "No, I'm not ready." You want to talk about failure to launch? That's
right.
So come hang out with us. Overtime show is a lot of fun. All right, so check it out. Okay, treat yourself. All right.
I was just googling tender. I didn't know what it was. That's the dude who just like holds the bone and the meat falls off. Yeah. That's terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a submitted question from Eric L. Thank you very much, Eric. It says, "Greetings, brother man. Hope you're most excellent." Thank you.
Indeed.
Same to you. It says, "Should Mr. Jackson restructure his contract to keep the 2 years left on his contract, or sign a new contract for more years, even though the Ravens have not had his best interest in mind?"
So I want to say this. Because I've heard people talk about, some people would say like he needs to restructure his deal to take less so they can bring in people or, whatever. No. There's no taking less. He gets more. They need to redo his deal. And this is coming from even when Harbaugh was here. Harbaugh, EDC, Bisciotti, they've all said the same thing. He's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league when we do his deal, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not about taking less. It's about redoing his deal so they can open up. They can stretch that out.
Lowering the cap number.
Lowering the cap number. Yes, exactly. So that's where it starts. And yeah, no, absolutely. I think he should re-sign there. They got rid of Harbaugh, right? Mm-hmm. And they recognized he was a problem. And I think they're only going to tell us so much in the media. But I get the feeling that they've had those discussions. At least Bisciotti had a discussion with them and said, "Hey, look, we're getting rid of all that," and telling him, "Hey, we want you to be a part of this hiring process. We want you to meet these guys." EDC's texting him after every interview, like they're really, want to make sure they're getting the guy that fits with him, that meshes well with him. That's a good faith effort on their end, and yeah, absolutely. I think he should go ahead and get that done. And I think he will.
Hell no. Hell no. Listen, Bisciotti said it himself. Lamar's not a confrontational young man. Like, he doesn't like to get in anybody's face. I need Miss Felicia to go up there and say, yeah, we'll do an extension. Yeah, you fired Harbaugh. And yes, you're going to have us come in and be a part of the interview process, but I need you to do more. I need you to protect my son.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to demand certain things and demand them and say, hey, I need protection and weapons. I don't need one or the other. I need both. You had me on a rookie deal when you could have done all of these things. When my cap hit was relatively low, you decided to still go defense. I've put up with this for 8 years. I'm not putting up with this any longer. Now, if they acquiesce to his demands, yeah, you signed an extension, but I'm not giving you an opportunity to put more guys on defense for them to fail me, and I get blamed for everything that's wrong with this organization, especially with Harbaugh gone.
Now, let me ask you, like, I didn't mention, yes, I agree with that part, but from the press conference, I got the feeling that was also understood as well, because we've never heard EDC talk about making a splash in free agency. And Steve Bisciotti, he went and corrected EDC when they're asking, like, hey, what are some of the failures or whatever, and he's like, oh, well, everybody failed, and Bisciotti was like, no, coaches failed. The offensive line, he pointed out the offensive line that they didn't do their job, they didn't develop how they should have. I think those things were talked about behind the scenes, and I think that is going to be a point of emphasis this offseason.
I hope so, because he went right behind it and said, yeah, right player, right price. You make too big a splash, you could set your franchise back. So he was setting things up just in case things don't happen. I don't trust EDC. He's going to make it. Jose, we've talked about this many times. Well, the Ravens were about to acquire. They've looked into. They tried to make a trade for, what I'm saying? Interested in, and it never comes to fruition. So he can say whatever he wants. I think Lamar needs to start seeing action. All these other lesser quarterbacks in the league are getting weapons. They're getting protection. They're getting offensive coordinators to maximize their skills. And we've been stuck with the same thing. I know this is a new era and things may go differently, but if I'm him, I'm scarred from the past. I have trauma from what you've already shown me. I don't care about your words. I need to start seeing actions. And I think that the head coach will be the first step in proving what we want to get done. Because even with the Jesse Minter thing, does Lamar approve of this? Is he like, yeah, that's the kind of coach that I want? Because Bisciotti said he will have input, but he has no power. And if I have really no say and you go with what you want to do and get a John Harbaugh Jr. disciple, I'm out. Like, I'm letting you do the void years, mess yourself up. I'm not helping you.
Yeah, this is the real question from Game here. He says, what would EDC consider a splash?
100%.
A splash is a relative term, right?
Yes.
He might consider, like we mentioned this on the show before, he might consider re-signing Tyler Linderbaum a splash. Right, because he makes a lot of money. But no, Lamar, like they say, he's not a confrontational person. Blah 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 blah. Lamar was 70-24 as a starter, ridiculous record. And then this year he was 6-7. Right, so that is the team letting the situation around him deteriorate, and he has this opportunity right now, this moment, to make change in this franchise, to have it kind of shift in the direction that he sees fit, right? Because you say, hey, no, I'm not re-signing until you say, hey, I'm doing A, B, and C. Right. I'm going out and I'm making the O-line a priority. I'm drafting you a new receiver or trading for an established receiver or something like that. Whatever it is he wants to see happen, you need to get assurances that is going to happen before you do anything with your contract, because you've got enough money to re-sign your own free agents. That's not even an issue, right? So you can't say anything about that. Like, they can re-sign whoever they need to re-sign right now with the cap room they already have. So yeah, he needs to be in those rooms. You want to say, hey, I'll have input and no power. Well, I think it's time that he shows them what kind of power he really has, because at this moment, with his cap hit at over 70 million or whatever it is,
74.5,
he's got a lot of power because he can hamstring the franchise. And if they come out to him and they say, hey, yeah, man, listen, it's that edge rusher from Clemson looking real nice. You don't re-sign anything. You say, no, man, pay me according to the contract that we already negotiated.
Yep, I'm going to honor my contract.
Right. If you come to me and you talk about, man, we thinking about trading this top pick to get Max Crosby in here because you saw what kind of impact he made on that Raiders defense. No, I'm not extending. Okay. If you want to say, hey, we're going to try and bring in Trey Hendrickson, who the Bengals didn't even want to extend.
Right.
Who's over
Hey,
30,
like,
and they're like, "Hey, man,
hey, man, go
how much
for it.
longer you can do
How
it."
you gonna pay for it?
Right. Yeah. How you gonna get it done?
So any kind of talk like that, nah, man, I'm not helping you with that. For what?
Yeah.
Because you're still going to blame me. You're not going to do anything for the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to be struggling because you still got Tweedledee and Tweedledum standing in front of me, and who knows what happens with Linderbaum.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and when we lose games, because we're gonna lose games, because the other wide receiver that I can look at after I look at Zay don't care about getting open and catching the ball, then I just have to look back at Zay, and everybody's going to be online talking about Lamar can't win. So no, I'm not extending, I'm not restructuring until you come to me and say, hey, this 14th pick is going to Mauiuga out of Miami, or the guard out of Penn State.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not restructuring until you come to me and say, hey, we called up Detroit. We are working a deal for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get that done. Like, I'm not helping you with anything. Like, that's all I've done is keep you all employed, making millions of dollars, and all you've done is try to wreck my body over the last 8 years.
Devon says, after all EDC done for us, and y'all still don't believe in him, because I don't either. He's a bald head liar.
And listen. And then Bashadi. I like Bashadi. Like he got a little gangster to him. But at the beginning of the press conference, he's fumbling around, tapping on his mic and all that. But then he stuck his chest out and was like, yeah, Lamar don't have to extend. We'll put void years on it. And Lamar sitting back like, put them void years on it. Cool. Because after my contract,
then he said, I prefer not to. Yeah,
no,
I prefer not to.
But don't even say that. Why bring it up? Because if you Lamar and you piss me off, I'll just play my contract out and leave. You can't franchise tag me. You can't trade me. Now I'm gone and you have to incur dead cat money. What you gonna do now? So don't put your chest out like you have something over top of me, bro, because you really don't.
I mean, he got to save face a little bit. He is the owner. He can't. No owner, no owner GM can be like, this man's holding all the cards. Like, even if that's true, they can't come out and say that, right? Like that's they can't say that. So he got to save a little face and be like, listen, we got options. We don't want to use those options, but we got options. We're not, he's not holding this organization completely hostage, right? But yes, behind the scenes, they're like, please. But we'll do anything. We'll give it to John. John's gone. He's out of. He's fired. Who do you want? We'll get you. We'll get you George Pickens. We'll get you whatever. Right? Like they'll do that behind the scenes. But in the camera, they gotta pump their chest out a little bit. I get that part.
I feel you, but in essence, I'm trying to save my franchise and my legacy. I want to retire in 10 years. If Lamar gives me the best opportunity, I ain't got to say nothing about it. I ain't got to bring up I got 4 years. I don't have to say, I ain't got to say nothing. I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to alienate you. I already alienated you in 2023 when I didn't want to give you the money that you rightfully deserve, and I made you fight for it. So I know you still pissed about that a little bit. Then the collusion case comes out, so I know you feeling some way about that. I'm keeping my mouth shut, and I ain't saying nothing about it unless somebody directly asks me, hey, what are you doing about this? There's a possibility you can have void years. I mean, we have so many options. We looking into it, and I'm saying it looking down. I ain't looking in your eyes like, we're gonna do what we can. I mean, I got all the power, but I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, for sure. But I think they're gonna work something out, though.
I hope so.
I know one thing is not gonna happen. He's not getting traded to the Raiders.
Facts.
Like, and these are credible people putting this information out here. You can't trust mainstream media. I'm sorry. These people are clowns.
Right.
Yeah, wait till Clint Kubiak gets that job and Tom Brady gets on the phone.
Okay, I just did a video about this. So let's just say, for kicks and giggles, this is if there's somewhere in Earth 616 that
goddamn nerd.
What? It's the multiverse. Like on Earth 616, there's a possibility that Lamar Jackson would accept a trade to the Raiders. Yeah. Why would he go? You just gave up the number 1 overall pick. You're going to have to give up another number 1 pick for another year and possibly trade Max Crosby, Powers Jackson. You're going to have to trade somebody, Michael Mayer, somebody. So now I'm going to a team devoid of draft picks and devoid of talent. Why would I accept that trade?
And a worse O-line.
And a worse O-line. Why would I accept that trade?
Because they got all the money in the world.
You know why they put that out there, Hendo? And this goes to show you how little how little journalism they do, how little reporting or that they do or research that they do. They don't realize that he has a no trade clause.
You're right.
So when they put that stuff out there, they're doing it with the thought of, oh well, the Ravens can do what they want. They could trade him. They don't understand that he has a no trade clause. Otherwise, even if they did this as simple, questioning, hey, you're telling me you put this out there. Well, okay, let me just take a look at this contract, right? Oh, it says no trade clause. Well, how can I spin this?
Right.
They just somebody told me this. All right, I'm gonna go out there and say it. No credibility, none
at all. It's crazy.
All right, that is the show. We appreciate y'all. Well, hey, listen, the party's not over. All right, you can still hang out with us. Come over to the Overtime Show. Look, check it out. All right, go look in your pocket. I know some of y'all are going to try to order DoorDash or Grubhub. Don't do that. Don't spend $30 on delivery fees. Don't do that. All right. Listen, go pick it up. All right. Come back here, spend $5 or $10 and treat yourself to the Overtime Show. Click on that pin link that you see in the chat box. That'll take you to our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHTShow. Or if you want the channel membership, YouTube takes 30% of that, but you'll also get a link to the Overtime Show. All right. But if you want one of these coins, you have to go to Patreon. You gotta go to Patreon to get one of these coins. That's for the $10 tier. All right. Adrian says I already ordered my DoorDash, but I'm still hopping on the Overtime Show. All right, big spender.
Big money right there.
Hey, make sure. Hey, and my friend Adrian has a goal. Look, go right there. Press start 410. He's trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by this spring. So if you're into video games and modding your devices and whatnot, check him out. And he has all kinds of stuff on there. All right. He talks a little bit of wrestling too. Right. Lots of stuff on there. Go subscribe. All right. Okay. Florio just has dreams and tries to make them a reality. Florio is the biggest clown.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I think it's that people have this delusional thought process about Tom Brady. Like I was arguing with people in our Discord that Tom Brady won't accept losing over there. Tom Brady don't give a good goddamn how many games the Raiders win. He's a minority owner. He's a minority owner, and that's just a revenue stream.
Thanks. But Florio is a clown. Okay, yeah, he's one of the biggest. The only one bigger than him is Jerry Coleman. And if you don't know who Jerry Coleman is, that's okay. You shouldn't know who he is. But
see, now somebody gonna send this to him, and we're gonna get a DM. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Send it, Jerry Coleman. You are a clown. Don't take shots at my friends. All right. Shout out to Coach Evans. All right. In fact, if you see Jerry Coleman pop up in your timeline on Twitter, because that's the only thing he knows how to operate. Put a clown emoji in there. All right. And also go subscribe to Sip to Tally Films. Sip to Tally Films. That's Coach Evans. All right. Do those two things tonight.
One of my favorite tweets are like, "Who's this clown?" is the best insult, because not only are you calling them a clown, but you're saying they're not even one of the more famous ones.
All right, we are getting out of here. Adelia, are you ready? I think Adelia is ready. Everybody, have a great night. Join us for the overtime. All right, and then whenever if any breaking news pops up, you'll see us on the stream. All right, but Hendo, where can they find you?
Road Pod, everything on the road to 8,500. I think I'm like 40 away or something like that.
There you go.
Just dropped the video a couple hours ago. Check it out. I think it was pretty good. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you.
Yes. All right, y'all. Have a great night. We will see you next time. Peace.